Hello, and welcome to another episode of Through the Monocle. Today we will be discussing the George Lucas masterpiece and commentating on it. The movie is Howard the Duck. As always, I'm your host, and today we are discussing Howard the Duck, the movie that is absolutely fantastic, as everyone knows. Joining me to do that today is Grant Skillen. How are you doing, Grant?
Um, that's a good question. I'm here for another source of medieval torture,
Here for a long time, not a good time.
otherwise known as this new structure we're doing.
Yeah. So anybody who missed last week, which obviously, honestly, probably isn't many of you, because last week was like our second most viewed episode since we moved to our own channel. We made the mistake of watching
Somehow.
Batman and Robin live on air.
Mhm.
Batman and Robin sucks. But you people, and yes, I'm saying you people to be as hard to you people as possible.
Or
You people
psychotic.
are psychotic, and you watched that a lot. So
Yes.
we do what the people want here because we want money. And
The
Howard
watch
the
along
Duck.
of this movie has like 3 times the views of the normal review of this movie. I'd say this movie, I'm referring back to the Batman and Robin of last week. So, given that was we compared to as worse than Waterboarding, we were like, okay, what's another bad movie that Grant can use to torture specifically me, but also him to some extent?
I've never
And
seen this one though. I should say,
yeah,
I
yeah,
vouch for nothing.
yeah. And the first movie that popped into this kid's mind is this movie right here, Howard the Duck.
So I told our editor and our good friend Taylor Murphy, who, if you don't know him, what are you doing? He runs the Culture Nerd. I told him we were reviewing Howard, or we were going to be commentating on Howard the Duck today, and his message back was, "Oh, good lord."
What was his message to last week with Batman and Robin?
Okay, I
Yeah,
talked to him
this
about it
is
previously. This is, I mean, we've mentioned it several times on the show, and it's bad. Like supposedly, really, really freaking bad.
yeah. I'll go ahead and throw it up. We've got the Rotten Tomato scores for this movie. The critic score is marginally better than Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin was 11%, I want to say, critic 10 or 11.
I want to say
The
the same.
audience score is actually much higher. I say much higher. It's 38. It's still horrific.
It's still terrible.
It's also much higher than the Batman and Robin one, so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes and how the differences compared to each other. Oh, Grant's gone.
What's going on with my webcam? It looks like your webcam was unplugged. That's not me either. All right, go to settings, Grant. Here we go. While we're here, I'm going to make sure that my headset is properly plugged in, which I did earlier, but it's not loving me. So here we go.
Yeah,
All
these live watch alongs are going to be a little different. Like, we'll go with it.
I mean, they just have to be, right? Like you can't avoid it very well.
Yeah.
So yeah, here we go. I'm back. I don't know what happened, but yeah, glad it got fixed. Yeah. So the live watch alongs. Last week I was eating soup. Now I'm eating spaghetti. Judge me.
I would lie to you. I would lie to you and say I was eating these, but they're gone already. So
fair enough. I will say apologies in advance for the me eating. We just are doing this at a time that is convenient for both of us, but it lands like right after practice for me. I play for a Olympic college baseball team, and we're also doing a fundraising promotion. Please go and do that. No, kidding.
I mean, this is like we want you
to
be able to watch along with us. So Grant's gonna be eating, depending on what time of the day it is for you when you're watching this. You could be eating dinner too.
Yeah,
why not?
And we could all be suffering together. Yeah, so I guess without further ado, let's start this amazing woman.
That's what she said.
Movie. I was reading the that's what she said, and I was like, oh, because woman. I was trying to then figure it out and then said it, and yeah. This is gonna be different, guys. Grant, you're gonna have to edit that. I'm sorry. That's like 4 minutes and 50 something seconds in.
I'm not editing this.
I hate you.
These are not possible to edit. I am not going to edit
You can.
one clip out of a 2-hour-long episode and send a 10 GB file to Taylor. And that's on like the low end of how big this file would be compared to some of these other ones I'm sending him.
They are absolutely huge. We're gonna
I
start.
think
this
Taylor's
movie.
computer would explode if I sent him that file.
If not, mine probably would just from
Just like
the.
my head wants to explode from watching this movie. And yet here we are.
And we haven't even started it yet. This movie was written and directed by Willard Huyck. And if that sounds like somebody up yucking, it's probably because this movie is that bad. We are going to start it. Grant, I'm assuming you're at 0000
Yes.
with a minute and 31 left to go.
Yep.
Okay. On the count of 3, and yes, we're going on go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. And off we are into the vastness of space.
Star Wars.
The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Universal, an unfortunate company.
Yeah.
Yes. George Lucas. He doesn't like sand.
Of course, it's rough and it gets everywhere.
Unlike duck feathers, which are known for being fluffy and amazing, especially when the duck's really just a midget in a suit.
It's not a duck. We've shown the picture. You're about to see it. If I know one thing about this movie, is that it's not a duck.
Oh.
The real question to be: do I sink lower in my chair than I did last week? That's the real question.
Oh. The fouls. I can't tell if he ever wanted this movie to be taken seriously.
Did you ever want this movie to be good?
Yeah, I don't know.
Having a miserable vacation.
I miss your bill pressed against mine. Flying home soon. Breeders of the Lost Stork. The heck?
I don't want to be here anymore. How long have we been in here? We've been in here for 8 minutes. Oh yeah, racquetball.
Howard seems to be a little bit of a mallard.
Was that Taylor Swift calling Travis Kelce?
Whoa. Hot take. Howard and the Heartbreakers. There he is. The man, the legend. Feather fungus. I mean, they definitely went all out, right?
He's dead.
I like that we've spent 3 minutes just establishing that everybody here's a duck.
Yeah, I
then-
feel like that's all this has done is make me hate my life.
It's getting worse. What the crap?
It's
Is it-
Quack.
I was-
Nurse Quack.
I want to point out this movie is rated PG. with well, last week we had bat nipples. This week we've got duck nipples. We can't avoid them.
It's better animation than the prequels.
That's what I
They're
was about to say.
CGI.
Yeah.
The dark side of the Force.
It's time to break out the spaghetti. He's still just flying.
I don't think that's what it said.
That's what it was. That was day 8.
That's
In the beginning, there was Howard the Duck. Of course, he lands in Cleveland.
Hmm?
I said, of course, he lands in Cleveland.
Yeah, I need to turn this down a little bit.
I probably do as well.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Cleveland, city of lights, city of magic, city of duck puns. All right,
You should have had
I'm creating a new banner. I skipped
say
way forward. Pause it. What's your timestamp?
6:54. Well, that was a couple seconds after you said pause it.
All right. I've
Where are
got
you
Hey
at?
Bender, go on in Frankenweenie or Frankenweed. We finally found you a date. Anyway, ready? It's 6:54. Ready?
Yeah.
Go. I added the duck fun sticker. I mean, to be fair, that he does look more normal than most of the people in Cleveland. I want to see what the duck version of Cleveland looks like. Did the river still catch on fire?
Step on him. Just like
What
a
is
2-foot tall person.
What is it? It looks like a duck. It walks like a duck. It acts like a duck. It's a goose.
Why did the beak sound like plastic?
Because the beak is 100% plastic.
Yeah.
Who decided this was a good idea? This is what I want to know.
And this is how Howard the Duck became the Joker.
I like how we've yet to meet a normal looking person.
Yeah.
You're either a duck or you're in the middle of like a punk rock festival.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Seattle. Again, I would say he landed in a bad part of Cleveland, but that's just Cleveland.
Yeah. There's not a good part.
There's another one. How do we know? A master of quack boo. I love how this implies that ducks in his world get zits.
I'm in for a long hour and a half.
It's 2 hours.
Close enough.
His self-esteem. I love how he has the duck version of a mullet. Like if Jerry Seinfeld's haircut fit on feathers, it's this. Well, no, he doesn't know the planet. He's a talking duck. She thinks.
Mine. It's my nightmare.
Our nightmare. Speaking of nightmares, the way everyone in this movie is dressed, is terrible.
Yeah. Unlike me with my Russell Westbrook jersey.
I don't know what this soundtrack is. They just met. But the writing's still better than the prequels.
Eh.
That's just true.
Yeah.
Can you imagine imagine how? Can you imagine how much of an acid trip this movie was to film? You just go to work every day and it's a dude in a duck
I've got a
suit.
genuine question. Who's the actor that played him?
That's a good question. I think Tim Robbins was his voice. I don't know who's
I'm
in the
talking about
suit.
I'm talking about the physical body. Like, is this a kid or is
Ed
this
Gale.
like
Ed Gale. He was. Let's see.
is little person the proper term?
He was 23 at the time.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna just person lacking height. I think it's hilarious that they have beer, they have knockoff duck movies, they have duck television, but they don't have Duck Cleveland. It's like the ducks are better than the humans in this movie. It's like we have everything you have, but without
Duck
Cleveland.
Bron James.
LeBron
Duck
Duck.
James.
A duck. He's got PTS duck. Fun fact, in April of this year, the guy that played Howard in the suit was accused of being a pedophile trying to solicit from multiple minors. He's just picking on people his own size.
We're hitting on.
What? He went to med school.
I write songs too.
Again, everything we have, but without Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
We're up to 5 duck punts. Hopefully we don't ruffle some feathers here in a minute. No, she's just talking to a 2-foot tall talking duck. Grant just uses his calm to do ASMR the rest of it.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
I actually despise ASMR.
I despise this movie. She's petting his feather.
I know you said this movie is PG, but we've already seen. I'm scared about how this is gonna go.
I happen to know it doesn't get better.
Okay.
But yeah, so maybe at this point, our criteria for movies we commentate on are movies famous for their nipples, bat nipples, duck nipples. Next week, we watch The Wolf of Wall Street.
Eh.
It's a mallard card. Blooming ducks.
It's George Washington with a bill.
That is exactly what you think it is.
Yeah, put it back. Put it back.
We're actually well above 5 because we had all those in the first bit. I wasn't counting.
For the record, he's married. That's all I'm gonna say there.
Is Howard married? Do we know that for a fact?
That's what it seemed like, at least.
I thought that was his mom and dad. I think Howard's a young
Oh.
man. I don't think he is married. There's 9. I like how it's already being set up to be a romance movie between a human and a duck, and they just met, and it's been about, what is it now? 20 minutes in? We're 20 minutes into this monstrosity. She also has a perfectly duck-sized blanket, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's
How
40 duck
convenient,
degrees
really.
in Cleveland.
You're talking to a trash bag, and you think that's not suspicious at all?
I just want to point out
Don't
that
be suspicious.
psychiatrists are quacks.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Ichthyology. What the heck just happened? He's just crazy.
I was about to say, what is wrong with this kid?
He looks about 12.
She said she was 12.
Is a duck man's oldest fantasy? Which is a bird. I just want to point out a duck is a bird.
Donald?
Probably. Okay, the humor in this movie is well written thus far. Like, I'm enjoying Howard's lines.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Again, Howard is like incredibly well written thus far.
Can't be walking around with his tail out like that.
The science. Would you prefer him use the thing we found in his wallet?
Never mind.
I thought in the beginning was Howard the Duck. That implies that the United States of Antiday has hairy apes.
Yeah.
And he's still a duck. Abduct. That's how it works, especially in this day and age. You finish lab tech school and they just give you a museum.
Mm-hmm.
Not this movie. I can't believe this was 1986.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay, it is bad, but like it doesn't look bad.
That's what I meant.
That's a comic book line and also makes no sense in the script.
Beat it.
Whoa, Howard's feeling her up here.
Can anybody find me?
So thus far, they've known each other a day, and they've already gone through a dramatic breakup, Hallmark style.
Yeah.
Ducky. The Ohio State T-shirt.
The Ohio State Duck Eyes. Good job. Oh boy.
Where did he get the clothes? I don't know what looks so. 1986
thinks he has
PG,
a-
everybody. This was also after the PG-13 rating had been created. So apparently the Motion Picture Association just decided duck boobies weren't worth PG-13.
Apparently.
Did they really just typecast? Did they stereotype a duck into being a water expert?
Yeah.
That's a little racist.
Is that even technically race?
Speciesist.
This is PG.
Unfortunately. Wait, did I miss more nudity?
No.
Okay, making sure.
Just the people in the back of the tub. It was more the audible aspect of it than
I got you.
anything visual.
Yeah.
Is what I'll leave it at.
I will say, so far, it's more entertaining than Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't say this is a good movie, but it's definitely like a tier above the other one. I'm not in as much pain. Like, we're 30 minutes in, and
We're
I'm
only 30
I'm feeling-
minutes in.
This is going faster for me, at least.
Yeah, I agree. It's not good by any means. But at the very least, it has the novelty of a duck.
Yeah.
That's a duck, man.
Turducken.
Is that just the anti-duck television store?
I don't know. How convenient, though, really.
Right. Like it's duck hunting, Daffy Duck, and duck commercials.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally trying to snap a picture to some of my teammates of Howard the Duck in action. I'm totally doing that. That's how strongly I feel about this movie being amazing. This is a duck above. You're right, though. It is certainly more watchable.
Yeah.
Like
Like I was saying, is it a good movie? No. But am I sitting here wanting to die at the level that I was last week? No.
I feel like it's going to get worse.
Oh, I'm sure.
So bad. Just a beat. How about we give her a beat or a bill? These are like cartoonishly corrupt people. And talking ducks.
Hmm.
I will say I've had some genuine laughs at the like dialogue in this movie.
Not cringe laughs.
Yeah. Like Howard's funny. Those aren't mutually exclusive. Quackman. Now we're up to 12.
Quackman Jones, NFL player. If you know, you know.
Uh-oh. Not a master of quack foo. Richie.
Is this a Do Perfect video?
This is an acid trip.
To duck
Oh,
hunt in
God.
season.
Space rabies.
Space Ligma.
I'm waiting for space anxiety to drop.
It's the new DLC.
Oh, gosh. Interestingly enough, this is the same. This is no different than after a WNBA game. This is a WNBA press conference. I think Howard might duck around and find out. It doesn't give a duck.
You're not a guy.
You're a duck.
Yeah.
What the heck? Wait. Ouch. That's some
Poor guy.
80s. That's some 80s
Right,
man.
right in
bashing
front of
right
him too. Goodness
there.
gracious.
I mean, gee. Vronette. Primitive Samoans.
Otherwise known as The Rock.
That's what Maui's deal was. He was a demi duck. What the heck? Oh no.
The feather.
He got a grip.
I'm scared. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's just his pride, and well,
That's a lot of damage.
I can definitely see why its Rotten Tomatoes is higher. Wow.
You are.
Bizarro influence. Wait a second. Well, maybe he's a duck. Dadgummit, I'm not trying to call the line. Whoa. Only in Cleveland. She might want to get that checked out. The PG rating. The PG rating. But not the laws of Cleveland. And I'm a duck. Maybe a duck? We traded Howard Stark for Howard the Duck. A duck. I also want to point out it's a telescope. How does this telescope pull a duck? Okay, I want to throw this out. So they don't need the feather. Hey, when'd you get here, Howard? A couple days ago. Where are you from? Another planet. Oh, well, we had this laser thing that must have pulled you in. We don't need the feather. How many ducks
Yeah.
are there?
Talking midget ducks.
Why? When did they take those at the club? To be clear, we're 48 minutes into a 2-hour-long movie. Is he going home? I kind of hope so. I'm hoping the rest of this movie is George Clooney going, ha! But, so Grant, 48 minutes in, how do we stand?
Better than last week?
Fair enough. He had a duck. You know who almost had the duck? Bev.
Yeah.
Why don't we teleport her back to Duck World? Howard was one of the most popular characters of the 80s.
Until this.
He ran for president. Actual comic run. Howard the Duck ran for president.
In a human world or in the duck world?
In the comic book. In the human world. In the human world.
Did
Howard
he
the
win?
Duck comics take place on Earth. I don't remember. The man says to the first duck he can get his hands on. Yeah, it looks fine.
Mm-hmm.
We are in Ohio.
It's Thanos.
The duck.
I want to speak to the manager. Does he have rights?
Also love the GD in this PG movie. Are these Catholic cops? There's another duck pun. That's back. I can't say that on there. Never mind. Whoa. Technically, it's duck handling.
I don't know what she thinks this is about to do for her. She's just stolen the gun from a cop.
Imagine being that cop. You're like, this is a weird. Like, what are you going to tell your wife when you get home? She's going to think you quacked up.
Mm-hmm.
It is duck hunting season.
Oh, yeah, let's just run right past and not look under the stairs that he could fit under.
Why don't we get in the running car? I'm waiting for Ducky Momo. No dip. No dip. No dip. No dip. That's 4 lines of dialogue that told us things we already know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how do you build an unauthorized laser telescope capable of pulling a duck out of his living room across the universe? Back when they made cars to drive through.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been that clean.
No, it wouldn't have been at all. It's a duck hunt. I called it. I called it.
'Tis the season to shoot some ducks. Da 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 da.
Why don't we let the duck drive? Did we find the evil's feather?
He's driving with his eyes closed. What does he expect to happen? Or worse, expelled. You don't get that reference.
No.
It's a Harry Potter
Harry
reference.
Potter,
Hermione
yeah.
goes, "You're going to get us killed, or worse, expelled." Well, I need to find that.
Whoa. Whoa. Howard, hands on the wheel, man. It's Gollum. Like a sex change or something. 1986, everybody.
So the Harry Potter line is, "Now, if you two don't mind, I'm going to bed before either of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed, or worse, expelled."
I love how this man is just turning into Gollum.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting worse. I just want to see Dr. Jennings. I just want to see Dr. Jennings become Dr. Duck. Is this a Cajun sushi place in Cleveland? That's what that said.
That would be duck sushi.
I think he needs some coffee. Grant, if I ever start talking like this in the middle, I want you to just announce to everybody that I just need coffee. And it is a Cajun sushi joint.
Ah, new specimen.
Ah.
He's just sitting over here having like, like nobody's like, is this guy possessed? Are we thinking this is the same guy? Are we? Yes, obviously. The Nexus of Sominus. Are we really not? I want to see in Lord of the Rings, I want to see them treat Gollum like this. He's not evil. He just needs a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
That was perfectly timed, too. Duck boobs. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Superman.
Okay, maybe this isn't better than the prequels.
He's like, I don't care. You're bringing in the demons. I'm going to Duckland. How do you feel after winning the Super Bowl, sir? I'm going to Duckland. He looks normal.
Hmm. Totally normal.
That's just getting the key to your Duckmobile. Uh-oh. Quack Poo's back, everybody. Woo! Why does he call? Quacker? Also, I just want to point out that's 100% a racial slur.
Hmm?
That was 100% a racial slur. Howard the racist duck.
Yeah.
In this diner? They might have had one
From
too
the
many.
top rope.
Just in case you needed a reminder. Uh,
I specifically requested it.
Take that as they. How many ducks do you know? It looks exactly like the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that is very much an Asian stereotype as a show.
Why is she doing that? She's fine.
He must have ate the chili.
Say the saltwater fowl.
Boo, Pucky.
So they can't swear, but there was, yeah. I remember the power.
Let's pop it to him, guys. I'm convinced George Lucas only knows how to create one villain. Use the force, Jennings. Yes. I think this might now be Batman and Robin level.
Eh.
I like how he's just going through. He's like each plate, bang, 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 bang. Not the gun. What did he do?
Who does he look like? He looks like Aang right now.
I mean, seriously, is George Lucas just like, the only requirement I have for my movies is somebody has to use the Force?
Okay, Vader. Broke my head. I feel like that's a.
Ouch.
Fucking Joe on Impractical Jokers in that one episode. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
One of his punishments was he had to go into a restaurant where they had one of the tables rigged as a fake table that would collapse. Like they had to climb up on a ladder and jump onto the tables, and only one of the tables in the restaurant collapsed. And so he had to find that table by going to different tables, climbing up the ladder, jumping off, and trying to go through the table.
Gosh.
And the only people in the restaurant who knew were the people at that one table. So imagine this random white fat guy just starts climbing up a ladder and jumping on your table.
That's hilarious.
Duck.
Duck. Right after this nap. I will say, for a movie about a talking duck, the sexual undertones of this movie are ridiculous. For a PG movie about a cartoon talking duck.
Mm-hmm.
I can just see some poor kid's grandma being like, well, he likes Donald the Duck and Daffy the Duck. Holy, what the crap? Again, this movie's rated PG. This might be the first of its kind to be a duck horror comedy.
I don't know what one would describe this movie as.
Bad. Fascist.
If I stand so perfectly still, they'll never see me.
What a whisper. What is that camera angle? His eyes are so wide, he looks like my roommate. The duck on the run.
And a man who has just been in custody and has been taken out of the.
I didn't even
police
realize he was there.
I didn't either.
What?
Getting Top Gun vibes from this color.
You can't talk about somebody having a screw loose, Howard.
You're a talking duck.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Chernobyl. Unlimited power.
Unlimited radiation poisoning.
Cuyahoga. Fun fact, the Cuyahoga River once caught on fire. Why are you driving? If it's next door, why are you driving to? That's the 360, Howard.
360? Wait. Fly, you little duck. Mind you, he is still in handcuffs.
Why is the duck one?
He ain't the only one.
It's him and George Lucas. And Beverly. Beverly wants that duck too. Preferably alive. She doesn't want a stuffed duck. I want to say, how convenient is it that somebody just had an airplane sitting there? There's no one looking at the guy. Unlimited.
Okay. Did they really use the unlimited power years before it happened?
Is nobody going to say anything about the literal zombie walking through this thing?
Apparently not.
Is he taking a shower?
And like nuclear bath.
And this is how the zombie became the Joker. I'm the Joker, baby.
So it's like my friend Liz trying to fly.
How do we know that this duck from another world in prehistoric times flew? Some of these cops need to go to driving school because, geez.
Touchdown! The Bears score. Now they're down 41-7.
Ohio Duck Hunters. I want to point out that this is pretty much just a crappy ET.
I would need to edit together me with that clip of the flying and put the audio over it and send it to my friend so she'll murder me.
Do that and make that video from last week for the TikTok. Vengeance is mine. Over Bonsai? Dive bombing duck hunters.
That's just texting you a timestamp. So I know where to find it.
You're
I
actually gonna
can't
do
say
this.
that. I want to say something, but I can't.
Text it to me. Did nobody hear the 4-car collision?
You see my text? He's literally using the force right now. This is force lightning. Here,
Again,
look
George.
at it this way. This movie walked so the Phantom Menace could walk slightly faster.
Only slightly. And this movie didn't really walk.
Yeah.
Neither did the Phantom Menace. This movie crawled. So the Phantom Menace could crawl slightly fast. This movie
Yeah.
caused Steve Jobs to be sold Pixar by George Lucas. Because Pixar, I believe, did the special effects on this.
I knew he made Pixar. I didn't realize he sold it to Steve Jobs. At this point, I don't think this should be flying as well as it is, which is not well, but I think it shouldn't be flying at all.
Why is it so low? Is what I want to know. Like, if you can just pull up, just pull up. As it's running.
He's still in handcuffs, mind you.
I can't do jack. He's waterboarding Phil. He's waterboarding Phil.
And you're waterboarding me.
This movie sucks. It's so bad. Phil is just terrified. Who the heck played Phil? Because he needs like a raise and to not ever be associated with this movie.
Yeah. Why does he have a little bit of J. Jonah Jameson in him?
I don't know. I don't know. This is so bad.
Like, do you hear that too?
Yeah, Tim Robbins is Phil.
It's about Phil.
Yeah, I didn't realize. So he's not Howard. Tim Robbins was also in Top Gun.
So the two best flying movies of all time.
Obviously, he was also in Green Lantern. But he's best known for winning an Oscar for Mystic River.
Wait, so why did he just crash this into the?
I have no idea. Or Fly. Oh gosh.
How convenient.
Not the evil super genius with the laser cliche.
With the love interest.
Not Conan O'Brien. Conan the Barbarian. Oh gosh, this movie's bad. It's getting worse, isn't it, Grant?
It is.
One of the producers admitted to tearing up negative response cards during test screenings so they could say they got a 95% positive response. I believe that. This movie sucks. Oh, Quack Fu.
Access Quack proved. Quaccess approved.
Quack says. In sign language, that looks like this. I like how the Dark Overlord can't speak as well as some random dude
It's a duck.
as a duck. Also, like how becoming a Dark Overlord makes your nails grow really long. In addition to looking like Albert Einstein, you have the hands of Hellboy. Where are we targeting here?
Her.
Yeah, but
Also, he is still handcuffed. Good continuity.
I do want to ask, how does he know all of this about this place? He's a lab assistant at a college.
It's above my pay grade. Like it's
Yeah, he
above
knows
his.
about this illegal project that nobody was ever told about.
Untested. Oh yeah, that's gonna happen.
And what is firing range?
He can't speak.
I love how this is like driving itself. No dip.
He's in a bad mood, really. That's crazy. I'm gonna bring the mic over here because I think I'm gonna stay right here for now.
Slowly. Not as many duck puns as I was expecting. Oh. Good thing metal doesn't conduct electricity. Why would this seatbelt control the start? Whoa, whoa, whoa. We all know he's a lake snake. Why? Why is his hair blowing with the wind coming out of his mouth? I think it might be worse than Batman and Robin now. At least Batman and Robin had Arnie. This just has a duck. A sucky duck, too. Pikachu!
Pikachu, I choose you.
Gosh. How does it get worse? What? Also, what? These are some high quality special effects. He's a dead duck now.
Waddle waddle.
And he waddles away. I feel bad for that. No. You have to carry two in his wallet. Oh, he's normal now.
That's what she said.
That's a lot of damage.
The Job of the Hut.
I love this PG kids movie.
Mm-hmm.
The 80s were a wild time, man. Unlimited power. Gosh. No dip. I like how this thing that isn't supposed to bring anything back from anything has an arrival
Mhm.
countdown timer programmed in.
Correct. Yeah. Obviously.
PG, everybody. PG, everybody. Here again, not supposed to. What does this butt have to do with anything?
No idea.
It still looks better than Marvel CG.
Somehow. No, I would argue it doesn't.
It's close.
He's opened the multiverse. You don't want him to go home, let's be honest.
He doesn't want to go home. He's become attached to the human female anatomy. Fortunately, as we know from all tractor beams, once you start falling, like you just get sent back.
Yeah, of course. When all the Slugma power is gone, it just sends you back.
Yeah. In the beginning was Howard the Duck. This is the first Marvel movie, Grant.
Can see why there wasn't one for a while.
Somehow Howard the Duck got made. Not Howie. Howie the schmuck, am I right? What the heck is this post-death speech? It really is just bad ET.
I haven't seen ET.
I haven't either, but it's bad ET. Yeah. I love 80s rock, especially when it has to do with Howard the Duck saving the human race. Give him a guitar.
Okay.
Who's playing? This one better do gangbusters. God. What the heck was this movie? Not bad for a duck from outer space. All right. Is there a post-credit scene in Howard the Duck? Would not appear so. I don't think they were expecting this Marvel movie to set up more. So I'm pausing the credits. I'm sorry to all the
I wonder why they weren't expecting this to set up much more.
apparently they were lying about audience test scores. Yeah. We're gonna do the review, but ouch.
Hmm.
The movie started out fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'm your host, Grant Ingram. And today we are discussing Howard the Duck. That voiceover was terrible because, well, it doesn't tell you a lot. But welcome to Through the Monocle. If you've been here for the last hour and 53 minutes and 42 seconds, thank you.
I'm sorry.
52 seconds. I'm sorry too. Yeah. Welcome. If you haven't been, this is just a normal episode, kind of like we did last week. But for some reason, last week the commentary popped off, so hopefully it does again this week. That's why we did that. All right, Grant. We unfortunately just watched Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
So this movie has a 13% tomato meter, a 38% audience score, and roughly 13 duck puns.
Hmm.
And 2 duck boobies for some reason. Yeah. It also
Yeah.
carries a PG rating.
Somehow.
Somehow.
Look, if that's a PG movie, I don't know what to tell you. That's all I'm going to say. I mean,
it's PG-13.
I would argue that might even be a little, I don't know. Yeah.
No, there's nothing. I mean, maybe the duck boobies, maybe. But if there's an argument to be made that they're duck boobies and not people boobies like they were in Batman and Robin.
I would not be someone who's making that argument. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Anyway, duck boobies aside, Grant, what did you think of this movie? That's a sentence I never thought I'd say in my life.
It's a movie. That I can say with certainty it is a movie. I would say the audience score is a little more fair than the critic score. Towards the end of the movie, it definitely gets worse and it definitely gets much more Batman or Robin like. However, the first hour at least was like, okay, it's not a great movie, but I can sit through this.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And not for the reasons Grant was attempting to use as to why Batman and Robin was watchable, which is it's just so bad you can laugh at it. I disagree with that statement. I just think Batman and Robin is awful.
It is. It's really bad. Really.
This movie is, I would say, more watchable, but still like.
I think at the beginning it was more watchable. Like when Howard the Duck was more like Howard the we'll replace that you. It was funny. Like I enjoyed. Like there was a level of it. I feel a lot like I felt about like Farce of the Penguins. Like there is good stuff in here that is just movie is too much. Like had they stopped when Howard was supposed to go home, if it was a 45-minute TV special, fine, whatever, it's good. In fact, I think that would have improved both the critic and the audience score. The problem is the back half of the movie is just awful.
Yeah, and that's not to say the first half would even end up with like an 80 or 90 audience score. It wouldn't get there at all, but it would certainly be higher. Because the first half is genuinely like, okay, not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. I wouldn't even say the second half is the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's definitely not as good as the first half.
It's getting there. That weird abominable monster thing is terrible.
Mm-hmm. Horrendous.
awful. I do have to say, I think that the 38% audience score is 38% of the movie was watchable, and the other 62% just isn't. Like, movie is not good. It was fun for 45 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
It was still weird as heck. But at least Howard wasn't actively trying to sleep with a woman. He was prepared. He wasn't actively trying.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, he was prepared. We saw his wallet, man.
Mhm.
Yeah. It has some bones. I think the movie does better if it's rated R. Because like there's some
Mhm.
humor there that you could totally go down and it would be amazing. And I wish that Kevin Smith's Howard the Duck show had gotten made a few years ago. And like Howard the Duck is a more mature character in the comic books, which I know because I read Howard the Duck comics from time to time.
Yeah.
Dateable here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, looking at IMDb trivia facts, following a test screening, Universal executives Sid Sheinberg, that's how I'm just gonna go for it. Sheinberg and Frank Price were allegedly arguing about who was to blame for green lighting this film, which led to a fist fight.
And also to scrapping their cards.
Yeah.
Or like negative reviews. The movie is not good. Again, like it was better when he was lost and it was aimless. Once it found its plot point of the Dark Lords of the universe creating a new Emperor Palpatine who becomes a giant slug for some reason, like it lost it, man. Like all of its charm just went away. Also, whatever you're doing, it sounds like some really weird ASMR coming out of your mic.
Okay. Just this. George Lucas spent $2 million on the duck suit.
The duck suit.
$2 million.
Okay, I make fun of the duck suit a lot, mainly because it looks like this. But it works.
It's not as bad. Like when you watch the actual movie, it's not as bad as those couple pictures make it out to be. But I'm not saying it's good.
No, it is as bad as those couple of pictures.
It's very much.
But you can deal with it because that's what the movie gives you. Like if you suspend disbelief to watch the movie, you can go, "Oh, I guess there's a dude in a duck suit." Okay.
Mm-hmm. So Willard, we mentioned in the full version of this about Willard Hyuk. This was his second consecutive failure of a movie. Before this was a movie called Best Defense, which was also a box office flop. Rating off IMDb, I don't know how bad it is. The failure of this film killed off his directing career, as he never made another film after this one. This is the last film this man ever made in his life. And you know what? That is a good thing. Because that means there's at least one less abomination that Grant can't make me sit through on recording for 2 hours. And for that,
Willard is out
thank
here
you.
catching strays. Ouch.
Look, Willard could do a better job at making a movie than I ever could.
I don't know if that's true. I sat through that. I think if you set up a camera and just talked, you'd have a better movie. Willard's bad, but also he's just out here catching strays. He wrote that movie too. He was proud of having written that movie. He probably went home and told his wife and kids, "I cracked it. I wrote Howard the Duck." And then his wife and kids
cracked the egg on this one.
And his wife left him and his kids went away.
She went for milk.
I hope Willard Yuck is doing fine. Oh, his wife died. That's really sad. He was married. Oh, goodness. So Willard Yuck is was actually like fairly well respected as a writer. The movies he wrote, American Graffiti, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and then Howard the Duck. He directed 3 movies, or 4
Mhm.
movies actually. But
Well,
yeah,
this what IMDb was saying is the movie before and then this movie were both box office failures.
he was the script doctor for the first Star Wars movie.
Hmm.
And then he directed he wrote some TV stuff. But so this is why he got the job. His wife was the producer, Gloria Katz. She just died a few years ago.
Okay.
They both edited the Star Wars script. They both wrote the movies. They both wrote Temple of Doom. They both wrote Howard the Duck. Yeah, so they were
They had
like
connections.
they were a husband and wife team.
Mm.
Rest in peace, Gloria Katz. Though the movie's terrible, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
rest in peace.
Yeah, cancer sucks. But
Yeah.
also,
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at what I'm reading on IMDb currently.
which is
In 2011, a screen-worn Howard mask was sold on eBay for $1,500. A few weeks later, an original worn-out animatronic prop of Howard was also offered, but nobody had any interest. That's what I'm laughing at. Just
nobody cared.
why in the world did my StreamYard just go off of dark mode?
I know StreamYard had
Whatever.
dark mode. I use it as my lighting, which is why my lighting sucks. But anyway, this movie
I'm curious.
is
Hold
bad.
on.
It is bad because it went from being good.
Yeah, I
to
can see how they use that as your lighting with how this looks.
yeah.
That took a
Anyway,
second.
it went from decent, okay, to really bad, really fast. It's not as horrendous as Batman and Robin. By the end, it is just as unwatchable. At least in my opinion.
It gets close. It gets very close.
That's what she said.
Yeah. I wouldn't waste my time with this movie. I wouldn't rewatch this movie. I would
No, this is
absolutely
like
force
Batman.
Grant to watch it again for the podcast.
Grant would force me to do anything at this point.
I specifically requested it.
I think ultimately, and I don't know how long this review is actually going to be, but I think ultimately it's going to come back to the same thing as Batman and Robin. Even though this is, as I've said, a better movie overall, it does get close at the end to being that bad, but overall a better movie. Would I suggest somebody sit down and waste 2 hours of their life watching it? No. I'd rather you waste 2 hours and go watch my boy Russell Westbrook Lakers lowlights. I love my boy Russ, but I could not, in good conscience, tell anyone to go watch this movie.
I could tell you to waste 45 minutes on the first 45 minutes of the novel just for the novelty of it. But yeah, I'm with you. And I say this as like a diehard Howard the Duck fan. Like I love Howard the Duck. I want more Howard the Duck comics. I would love to see another Howard the Duck movie. The girl that played Beverly in this is trying to get it done. I'd love to see it. Because the Howard the Duck of the Marvel Comics fame is a much better character. And it would make for a much better movie. The problem is they tried to make this a comic book movie and not a movie about a duck detective living in New York. And for some reason, they set it in freaking Cleveland. It's just not good. It's just not good. As a matter of fact, it's quite bad.
Yeah. So I'm in the factual errors list. The first one is too many errors about nuclear reactors to list.
Oh, there are a lot.
Yeah, just that there were too many. When Beverly is in Howard's wallet, the cash still says Washington D.C. on it.
Washington Duck Country.
Yeah.
Washington Duck Country.
So this is an absolutely nerdy one, but in the apartment scene with the piano, the specific type of piano that's there shouldn't be able to produce any sort of bass sounds at all.
Nice. I will say that is a nitpick.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to say that the talking duck aspect of this talking duck movie was the problem over the piano making bass noises. Some critics sitting there with his pen and pad. Well, we're gonna dock that 1%. It went from 14 to 13% because of
Yeah.
the bass noises coming from this piano.
Yeah. Nah, doesn't matter. You're not watching this for any sort of accuracy.
You shouldn't be watching this at all.
That is true. That is very true.
It's so bad. I never believed how bad it was because I'm like, I mean, worst comes to worst, it's a cartoon, right? Like, if it was just cartoony, it'd be fine. Instead,
Yeah.
it's like bad, man.
Mhm. It is almost as bad as.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
I will say the movie was better when it didn't have a villain. It didn't need a villain. There's no reason for that movie to have a space villain.
No.
Like, it was good enough when he was having a hard time getting home. An emotionally resonant story about a fish out of water being a duck out of his home planet, needing to find friends and a beer and come to accept life where he is would have been a much better movie. Especially if that duck is as wisecracking as this one is. You can still have him no crack through. It can still be fun like that. But like that would be a much better movie than what starts out as that and then becomes, well, here comes the Dark Lord of the universe. We pulled from Duck World, everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm having a hard time to find anything else to say about this movie. I know this recording's only been like 10 minutes for this. I'm just having a hard time of finding
15.
anything else to say.
It's been 15.
Yeah, like
movie's not good enough to talk about, but it's also not bad enough to rant on.
yeah. So like Batman and Robin last week, y'all heard me.
We heard you.
Y'all heard me. Pretty sure Kim Jong-un heard me. But
Yeah, it was just that impersonator Aiden Ross had on that stream.
it was like Speed setting off those fireworks in his room.
Or the other thing that
it's
he
ex-
did in his room.
It was explosive. But it's just like you said, this movie is not good enough to sit here and really try to dissect the movie. Like some of the movies we've went in and went a little further and dissected and talked about what's good and what's bad and like, actually talk about the movie.
So the goodness of the movie to me is the first 45 minutes and the sarcasticness of Howard. That's the good.
I think Howard's fine throughout the movie. I don't think Howard really changes throughout the movie.
He does. He becomes less funny as it goes along. Like they stopped writing his zingers. Like that's how it felt to me, at least.
Yeah, he's fine. He's the best part of the movie. Everything else is awful.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would
just-
say Beverly's pretty decent, actually. Like the people, the human part of it. So like Tim Robbins and I want to say, is it Leah Thompson? I believe is her name.
Yeah, I think so. I was looking at IMDb earlier. I think that's her name.
Yeah, they are good in the movie. Like they are what their characters should be. The problem is when they add in the villain. That becomes where the movie sucks.
And I don't know. I didn't really like Phil, if I'm honest.
Oh, I didn't like Phil, but Phil was good at being annoying, which was Phil's point.
He was annoying.
He was annoying.
Yeah.
He's
What does one say about this movie?
Don't watch it ever, please, for the love of God. It is. I would say it's adequately rated, except I think the audience score is a little high. Again, 38% of the movie is watchable. The other 62 is the problem.
I say 30 is probably a good number to put it at.
Yeah, give or take. Like it's
Maybe
just,
a little lower, but
to be honest with you, I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed watching Batman and Robin last week. As much as I hate it and as terrible as it was fun to sit here with you and watch you just melt into your chair because it was so bad. I didn't enjoy this like at all. Like,
I'm gonna differ with you on I didn't enjoy Batman and Robin. I think that was clear in the review. If you haven't watched it and you're still here, go watch it because I was mauling. But
if you're here, the reason you're here is probably that they're that.
yeah. This movie is just like we've said consistently. I'm just gonna say it again because I can't think of anything else to say. It's a better movie, but it still sucks.
It's almost better to the point that it's worse. Like there is nothing to get from this movie.
I think that's fair.
I feel the same way about it. Let me put it this way. I feel the same way about it as I do Batman Forever. It is not good enough to make fun of, or it is not bad enough to make fun of, making it just a miserable viewing experience after like the first 45 minutes. Like there is no joy to be found. There is no take 2 of these and call me in the morning. There's none of that. Like it is just miserable. It is pure misery because it takes itself so seriously in that second half. You can't have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, here's Lego.
Yeah.
That's how it is. As far as our lists go, did it achieve what it set out to do, Grant, and irritate the masses?
No, and I can tell you it didn't because as I was looking at the IMDb earlier, there was something about George Lucas had just built like this $50 million ranch.
Yeah.
And he was hoping this movie would, help cover the cost of that. And because this movie flopped, he had to start selling stuff, which is why he sold Pixar to Steve Jobs.
Gosh.
So the whole reason he sold Pixar was because this movie was crap.
Yeah, and we've mentioned that before. I think I even mentioned it during the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely didn't do what it set out to do. I wouldn't say it's rewatchable because I wouldn't recommend watching it the first time. The fun factor just isn't there after 45 minutes.
No, maybe an hour if I want to be a tad bit generous. Like it might make it to an hour.
It
Then
does.
those last 45, because like I remember during the commentary track, where like I was kind of like, oh, this movie is actually going quicker.
And then it drug. Like it started to die. You said that 28 minutes in, Grant.
Yeah, I think I also said it a little bit later.
Yeah,
I want to say
maybe.
if I didn't say it, I was at least thinking it. Like I want to say that for me at least, the first hour I got through it and it didn't feel bad. The last 45, I think it was, minutes without credits, that was slow.
See, that's how the split flips for me. The first 45 was fine. The last hour was bad. My personal thought on that is just that they got away from what made it kind of fun. At first, it's just kind of a goofy 80s comedy. It would remind me of like Flubber. You've probably never seen Flubber. I don't know that I've ever actually seen Flubber, but it's a Robin Williams comedy about a inventor who invents like this weird rubber human or weird alive rubber thing. Like it's not a good movie, but at least it's entertaining and it knows that it's kind of a joke. And Howard the Duck started out as kind of a joke, and it became a story about a duck fighting demons. Like it lost the fact that it was a joke somewhere in the middle of it, and that made it miserable. And that's it. Yeah. Anyway, went from being an 80s comedy to a very bad movie, like a Netflix comedy. Anyway, I don't really have much else to say. Grant, do you?
No.
Well, if you've enjoyed this, that makes one of us. Thank you. You can do us a favor. You can subscribe. You can leave a comment telling us you enjoy this, because when we saw that the last episode we did gangbusters, I made Grant watch this. You can also support us on Patreon, which is patreon.com/theculturenerd. There's a tier for each of the shows there. You can also just support the network. It really does mean the world to us. I think we just broke even for the year a little bit ago, and some giveaways are starting to come about, actually. If you look into the Cultured Nerd Instagram, they're giving away some Batman-themed stuff. If you look into the Cultured Gamer Instagram, they're giving away a Nintendo Switch. You might want to go check that out. I believe that's just at the Cultured Nerd and at the Cultured Gamer. You can also follow us through the Monocle Podcast. Anyway, as always, I've been your host, Grant Ingram.
And I have unfortunately been your co-host Grant Skillen for the past 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 35 seconds. Thank you to each of our Patreon supporters. My brain is no longer working properly, but thank you. Thank you to Jose for the logo and Taylor for the intro, even though he's still not on there for some reason.
And thank you, the viewer, for joining us and suffering through Howard the Duck with us. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us that you liked it. If you want, suggest a bad movie for next week. We still haven't decided what we're doing with the rest of this, but if this episode does well, I think we're a commentary show now. Anyway,
Can we do a good movie? Can we actually be able to be like, oh, wow, that is awesome, and not I want to hang myself?
we could do that, but it's tougher to commentate good movies. We'll figure it out. Anyway, you can scan this QR code here on the left to check out the Cultured Nerds stuff, the nerdiness, and you can scan this QR code on the right to check out our other show, Much Talk About Nothing, which has been dead for a little while, but we've got some stuff we need to drop there. Anyway, we will see you next week when we talk about something. Leave us a suggestion. See you then.